Yep.
hour.
Ninth.
9th hour. Really?
Is it?
Yeah, 209.
I don't even know what time it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought the last hour was 2:07.
Nope, it's 209.
Okay, cool. I'll believe you.
The 209th
Ninth.
hour.
Hey!
Yay!
And here's our last player. Good.
Just a couple of things before we start. This performance, like all of the performances, is a relaxing performance. So that just means that we've got a relaxed attitude. Signs are moving from our audience members. Just for the benefit of anyone who might not be able to be still or silent in the duration of the piece. If at any point you do want to pop out, you can feel good at the back. There's some water and stuff there, so grab some, come back in, have a big deal up to it. I'll be over here to give any shout if you do need anything at all. We've got some audio loop headsets as well, so if you'd like to use those, again, just come over and tap on the shoulder. The lights should stay like this throughout. They have been blown out. If that happens, I will run through them on as quickly as I can. There'll be no loud bangs, but there will be some background music throughout. So, yeah, enjoy. I hand over to Chris.
Thank you! Right, everybody, hello, welcome to Adventurers Wanted. I am Chris, your games master for the next 2 hours, and then I get to go home. So, what are we doing here? We are playing a tabletop role-playing game. For those not in the know, allow me to explain. These lovely people to my left and right are playing characters in a magical, mystical universe, and I portray the rest of the universe. The enemies they face, the monsters they fight, the allies they make, the parties they crash. At this point in time, they will tell me what they want to do, and then we will use dice, many, many lovely multi-sided dice, to decide how well they achieve that, with a 20 being particularly good and a 1 being hilariously failed. So, we have over 200 hours of backstory. It's going to be very tough to try and encapsulate all that into 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is try and condense it as much as possible, but that does mean if there's any point, at any point in this story where you're going, oh, I'm a bit confused, where are we, what's going on, don't hesitate to ask. That's from the audience and from the players equally. So, our players are crew members of the Spirit of the Horizon, a naval research vessel that was taken away from its home plane by a magical spell carved on a mystical stone tablet. However, when the crew took the mystical stone tablet from the temple where they found it, they also awakened an unspeakable ancient evil, which proceeded to destroy their home as they teleported away using the spell. Now they have to find a way to return home. And so far, they're doing a pretty good job of it. The world seems to be doing a lot better. People seem to be happier. And they have found 6 pieces of this stone tablet that looks similar to the one they had on their own world that they're hoping will take them home. The 7th piece, and final one, is apparently in the belly of Kelahanu, an ancient dragon sea turtle, which they believe lives under a mountain they're currently inside, trying to discover where it is. This sea turtle is apparently being held captive by a genie called El Dunalid. El Dunalid, as the party have discovered, is having a party of his own in his underground lair. Just up from there, in a small village of fish people called Slom, the party have just started fighting a group of shark people, Rakina, and there is currently 1 left who hasn't been completely and utterly torn to shreds by this lovely group of people. That's where we start. I'll get them to introduce themselves, then we'll dive in with the story. So, starting from my left, Bex.
So I'm Bex, and I'm playing Javere Cook, who is a rogue cook. Having a bit of a rough one this adventure, to put it mildly. Ate too much fermented fish, made some bad decisions. It happens to us all. Currently, I imagine my rapier is stuck in one of the heads of one of these shark monsters whose names I've forgotten.
Rakina.
And I'm trying to grab that out. So that's my current happenings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Vachel. I'm playing as Parakos Kholadin, who is a tiefling barbarian. And he woke up today just feeling great. Today's going to be a great day. So everything's dandy.
Great.
I'm Mark, and I'm playing Archimedes Hujikapiv, an elf wizard and monster researcher. His day started differently than he thought it would, and is descending into more chaos. At the moment, there is currently 4 of me, with a very gnashy-faced shark, Rakina, in front of me. Yes.
My name is Eleanor, and I am playing Skylar, who is the navigator aboard the Spirit of the Horizon, and she's not been having a good time of it lately. She's a little bit shell-shocked, a little bit shaken up, but still ready to get on with the adventure.
Right. As we begin this adventure, or continue better, Skylar is currently off to one side, hiding, shooting arrows at these Rikina from across the cavern. Archimedes has teleported himself slightly further away from combat and has created 4 mystical versions of himself that float around himself and should ward him off attack. Devere has her rapier stuck in the head of one of these shark people and is desperately trying to pull it out, as Brina, the arcane researcher on board ship, is teleported away, which seems to bizarrely happen as a version of the spell effect that first affected the ship on the hour every hour. It's weird that, almost like players are coming in and going out. And she is replaced by Pyrrhus Holadin, the ship's ex-navigator, ex-head of security, and general layabout. Holla, what were you...
Would I see him arrive?
Holla, what were you doing before you were teleported in?
I was laying about.
Laying about.
Yeah.
So Brina, standing
Generally.
upright, ready in combat, disappears. And on the floor lying there is Holadin, just lying on the floor, lounging around.
Yep, pretty much.
Would I
Yep.
notice his arrival?
I think you would. Golden teleportation energy and all that
Cool.
shiznit.
I'm just gonna yell, just the sharks, not the fish. Just the sharks. Don't kill the fish.
What's
Right.
nearest to me?
You are surrounded by milling fish people. There is a shark standing over them, leering down at you, but the fish people look more terrified than anything else. Can
So
we
they're
have the combat
easy
music back,
targets.
please, Cal?
Also, are they nearer to me?
The fish people are closer to you,
That's
yes.
the main criterion here.
No.
I throw an axe at them.
What's your dexterity?
14.
Thank you.
I don't metagame. I'm a pure player.
Good man. Make your attack roll.
I just woke
Stop
up.
metagaming.
That would be a 5. What do I add as modifiers?
Your attack roll with the hand axe.
But that would be 16 then.
16 to hit one of these poor,
I know.
defenseless fish
I
people.
know.
Guess what? It hits them. Roll for damage.
This is why you lost your job as navigator.
That's 7 damage. Why did you
7
Mine's the one
Okay.
that's more comfortable than his back.
Guys, come on. You throw your axe and it lodges in the back of one of these fish people running away. It's going, and as it collapses over, your axe still in. It's not dead, but it's very, very, very badly hurt.
Cool. I wake up. My next action is to wake up.
Cool. As he
I
does
repeat,
that,
Just the sharks, not the fish.
as he does that, the Rakina leaning over you leans down, takes its spear, and just jams it straight at you. You're prone, so it gets to attack with advantage. That's a 12 plus 3, 15.
Nope.
It jams its spear down, and you roll
I
out
just
the
try
way.
to like,
Just yawn and lean out the way by accident.
Yeah.
It then tries to take a bite out of you. 16 plus 3, 19.
yeah, sure.
And its head jams down on your midsection, just takes a big bite out of your chest for 4 points of damage. Takes a small nipping bite out of your chest for
No.
4 points of damage. Holla.
Hi.
Hello.
So-
Skylar, you've seen the teleportation effect. You realise someone has gone and someone else has returned, but you're still quite a long way away from all of this. So you could still shoot an arrow. There's one Rakina left you can just about see, but you again are shooting with disadvantage.
There's only one. Can I move up closer and shoot without disadvantage?
You can use the rest of your movement to get up to the level of combat, or you could use a bit of your movement, then you're shooting without being hidden.
I'll shoot without being hit.
Okay, so you run up to the edge of combat. People are starting to see you. Leap probably up on a rooftop of these ramshackle things.
I like it.
Because you're running, you're quite quick. You're on a rooftop. Arrows out. Fire.
And that is a 28.
That hits.
And that's 13 damage.
13 damage. You strike the Rakina with the arrow. Where does it hit it?
If I'm on the roof, let's just say it just like sinks in.
Sinks in, and
You
it just
see it,
and it
it's
just
nice.
over, dead, done. Combat is over. Can we have the music change something a bit less combative? Thank you. These fish people are still milling around, still terrified. Your mirror image, how long does it last for?
I think it's a minute.
Yeah.
Well, if combat's over, I'll dispel it.
Okay, you dispel your mirror image and it starts to fade away as you guys realise the Rakina are all gone. As has Brina, has been replaced by Holla, the gigantic brooding tiefling barbarian who stands up, yawns, looks at all of you and says,
You say brooding, but I'm in a great mood.
oh, he's in a great mood. He stands up, grinning, axe on his shoulder.
Yeah, it's great.
Say anything? Engage?
So what's the crack? Who we killing today?
Not
the fish people.
But can we point him in the direction of the genie?
Yes, I like that.
When you say not the fish people, do you mean...
There's no
Well,
one to
fish
kill
people.
right now.
The
There's
fish
no one
There are
to kill
currently
right
about, I don't know, 50 to 100 fish people milling around this cavern. They're all about this height, who's just sort of milling around going, what's going on?
Out of curiosity, do they smell tasty?
now. No.
They don't. Okay.
I mean, what define tasty?
Edible,
Define edible.
ingestible.
Can you roll a constitution check for me, please?
Well,
No, that's a natural 20.
They smell like rotting fish. This
Okay.
whole cavern smells like rotting fish. Everything smells like rotting fish. You smell like rotting fish. This whole place smells abysmal. But it doesn't mean things aren't inedible.
I've tried eating rotten fish before. It didn't work out for me. So I will just mosey on with the rest of my crew, saying, guys, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been?
Do you retrieve your hand axe?
No. Like he can take it as a souvenir. I'm a god.
As,
You can sell it
as
to
all the
the
fish start to
family.
slowly calm down and go back to their homes and start to stop milling, one of them just, with a hand axe sticking out its back, starts crawling across the floor back to his home.
What do we do? Do we put it out of its misery? Is that I've never.
can I swing down from the rooftop in some fashion? Mainly, I just haven't rolled acrobatics yet and really want to do that.
Roll an acrobatics check. Do it. You do that.
Oh, is that?
It's
Cox, do it again.
yeah.
That is 27.
27. Skylar suddenly 3-point lands, just boom in the middle of the floor. Totally awesome.
Stop trying to hurt the fish people.
Not trying to. I am.
I go over to it and say, "Are you okay?"
Do you want to, like, can I do a medicine check on
Sure,
him to see
sure.
if I can help him in any way?
Sure.
Could I assist?
Yeah, of course. Roll with advantage.
Sure. Excellent news. It's 14 or 20. Non-natural.
He's very badly hurt. The axe is wedged in him. It looks like it may have punctured a lung. He's not going to die anytime soon, but he is definitely in a lot of pain. He's in a lot of pain right now.
I'm looking around at the other fish people and sort of. Do you have doctors? Anything?
Graggle, the leader of the fish people, comes over and sort of,
It's a long, complicated story. But we took care of the Rakina that were born. You bothered you.
Thank you. They're coming here and they fight us for no reason.
Can you help?
No.
he leans down and sort of looks at the axe and reaches down and just
Oh,
the axe comes out with a spurt of green blood, and the Rickinon just howls in pain again with an just slowly starts to keep crawling, and there's definitely sort of a bubbling breath coming out his back. He's definitely got a punctured lung.
Can I try and like
Mending.
firebolt to cauterize that, like just to seal that up, stop the bubbles?
You can certainly try.
I'm a try. I
Okay.
feel like this could work.
Worst case scenario, you put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
I mean, go for it. Yeah, make that attack roll.
Okay. Not a 1. It's not great. 14 total?
Hits him. It's not exceptionally accurate though. How do you do this? Describe what you want to do, and then let's discuss how it doesn't do that.
So my plan being that it was going to be kind of like a focused kind of like laser bit that would go down the wound and like heat the wound so that it would stop bleeding. I'll leave the rest to you.
Well, there's definitely a sort of burning laser line, but it's nowhere near the cut. It just sort of burns a light. You sort of got to him and gone, I'll fix that, and just made a slash across it that's even worse than the first slash. You roll for damage, please.
Oh yes. This is firebolt's nuts when it's this level.
It is. I'm going to check for you if you got it.
Yeah, I've got it here. 2 seconds.
Cool. You guys watching this happen?
Oh, okay.
I'm looking horrified.
I feel like I'm putting it out of its misery.
I think it's like pretty sure that you are.
Kola is visibly confused. Why are you attacking our friend?
It's a grand old total of 20.
As you do this, as you burn this laser line going, I'm going to burn this off, there's a sound much like Cat's delightfully cute sneeze of and as it slumps forward and rolls over, you realise that you burned right through it. And that scar is also on the ground. And you have just killed it.
Right, less of that.
Oh my stars. Oh my stars. Oh, oh.
In my defense, it's not in pain.
Nope.
It's not. It there is
Nope.
not is anymore.
Th-
It is not.
Nope.
Graggle looks at you, looks up at you, and just says,
Why?
I'm not the one that pulled the axe out of its back. You should know
Right,
that.
let's stop this now.
Yeah.
More
What did you
info-
do in here? What do you
moving on.
want?
Moving on. The genie thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you defeat him?
We cleared the passageway.
What?
We cleared the passageway.
We cleared the passageway. We were hoping to see if any of you would be brave and noble enough to help our cause in defeating the genie.
You just murdered one of my friends, and you want me to go?
To be fair, we also killed the bullies that were okay.
They come by every few days and nothing happens. They beat us up, they don't kill us.
two smaller of the fish people come over and are kneeling down next to the guy on the floor, just sort of looking a bit tearful. They're generally quite wet-eyed creatures, but their eyes seem wetter than normal.
Don't put these ones out of the misery. Okay.
I'm assuming I have bloodied hands from the encounter I just had, so I use the chest to wash my hands.
We're
There's a
gonna
lot of it, right?
leave.
There's a
We're
lot
gonna-
of materials, right? So I'm good.
The original plan was to come back, help the fish people, then they would help us defeat this genie. That is not going to happen anymore.
We're not
Yeah,
doing
they
that
are
because
clearing a
we can
quite
act.
wide berth around you. They're not angry. They're not like going to do anything, but they are basically just really not happy with how this has gone
grab
in any
him
way.
by the ear and try and drag him towards the cave.
I
so
don't think
he'll
you could
come back
reach
again.
it.
I'm very angry and very motivated.
By all means, roll an athletics check to grab the tiefling by the ear.
Could it be acrobatics?
No. Holla, do you want to roll against a 2, or do you want to just say it doesn't happen?
No, let's see what happens.
Okay, you roll your athletics in response to this grapple, this hilarious grapple that has ensued.
That's a non-natural 20.
A non-natural 20. You reach for his ear, jumping. He just sort of looks at you.
You just jumping.
At this point, Graggle turns to you and says,
I think you should go.
Yep,
I agree,
we're
I
gonna
agree.
leave. I'm gonna lead the way. I'm gonna beckon everyone.
"Are you
Let's
heading?
leave.
Are you heading back towards the water genie's party, or are you heading the other way out of the cave where there were more of these shark people?"
They might be more inclined to help us if we get rid of all the shark people. Because I don't know whether we can take that genie by ourselves.
Yeah.
My plan was to point him at it.
I mean, it's not a bad plan, but like,
But
maybe if we
near
took to-
godlike, I believe, was the descriptor used for this genie.
Yeah. So I feel like if we kill the shark people, they know that they're not going to have any more of these shark people coming back to annoy them. Maybe that will, 1, make amends for the blatant murder that just happened, and 2,
Yeah, man. It's not cool.
I know you were trying to help, but you didn't. So let's just go from where we're at.
Hippocratic oath, dude.
How about
I'm
right?
not a doctor.
What do people think?
You're
Should we
not a
go
doctor,
after the
Jim.
genie, or should we go and kill the rest of these shark people, or try and kill the rest of these shark people to see if the fish people will then help us with the genie?
How much help do we think the fish people are going to be?
Well, considering that they weren't much help against the shark people, they're more just kind of cannon fodder, really, at this point. Not
You
sure
are
if I
still
wanna
surrounded by
put
them, and they still understand you.
No, that's fine.
Hypothetically
I don't want
speaking,
them
They're
to-
looking. They're looking at you with a kind of. They're all starting to go back to their homes. It's
That's
almost
fine.
like they made some heroes yesterday, and then today those heroes just betrayed their
Oh.
trust.
To be fair, 3/4 of those heroes are gone.
Can I roll a charisma check for me, please? Just a flat charisma check with your charisma modifier.
Oh, go well. Oh well.
12.
12,
13.
13,
9.
9,
17.
17.
No charisma.
As you guys look around, these fish people all turn and walk away. Gregor, as he's going, Archimedes, he walks past you and puts his hand on your shoulder, being on a bit of a sideline, and says,
Thank you for your help.
and then they go back into their homes.
Genie.
Various doors slam shut.
Was that sarcasm? I feel like that might have been sarcasm.
I think that was heartbreak.
Let's just go.
Oh,
Let's just leave.
Very
Don't do any more trouble.
take notes. More notes.
Quick question. Did
Yeah.
they leave with my axe?
No, the axe is still on the floor.
Okay, I pick it up. Thank you.
Sure. Holler has his axe back. Yay!
Does that count as a kill, though?
If you like to count as a kill, I think she can count as a kill. Yes, of course. I mean, it's
Right.
pretty defensive.
Mercy.
Right. Okay, so we're back in the tunnel bit,
You going back?
but we're not gone quite to the genie yet 'cause we need to formulate a plan.
Okay.
Any ideas, guys? I'm gonna suggest strongly against all guns blazing entrance, but a stealthy entrance to go around and take out the bards, which we know are armed. And then-
I thought we blended down quite well last time.
Yeah, I think we could, maybe not blend in, but if we stay as hidden as possible, go around and try and take out the bards that way. I feel like this is a terrible idea, but I haven't got a better one. So unless anyone else
Friends,
does.
comrades, I have a plan of action. I go in and I kill the thing.
I like it.
Okay, he
I'm
can go in and try
tempted.
and kill the thing, and we'll go and look for if there's an arcade focus
What is
or
this word
anything like
try? I do or I don't. I'm just gonna kill the thing.
Okay,
Just
cool.
tell me where it is and I'll do it. Exactly.
Do you know what? With the days that I've been having, sure, let's do this.
Let's just do it. Let's go.
So you guys are going to go into
This is a terrible plan.
the marriage's throne room,
But just wait a moment. Before
all guns blazing.
to the two
No.
bards were armed.
Yeah, so the two bards were armed. Most of the rest of them didn't look armed, but obviously the genie is magic. So
So get him by surprise.
yeah, so the plan is you can come in guns blazing if you wish.
What is
That
this
is-
word gun?
You'll know what we've had.
You
All
come in
cannons
There you
blaring.
go. Cannons.
swords,
All cannons
slashing.
blaring, all
Okay.
everything.
Fair.
But if you can wait until we have snuck in and around to the back to do it, and then cause a distraction at the front while we're trying to do our thing as well,
I will
try to
count.
aid in your righteous defeat of the genie.
Alright, I will count to 100. How's that?
Can
Can
you count
to
to 100?
1, 100.
I'm losing faith in the plan.
You guys can persuade him to do things your
Yeah, I'd
way.
like to persuade him to wait a while we sneak in.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Come on, persuasion. It's a 21.
Holler, insight to counter that.
14.
Are you persuaded?
I'm persuaded.
Cool.
Fine.
How
okay.
long will you wait?
101.
101.
So is that going 1, 100, 101?
Yeah.
You've tripled our time.
You've technically added a third on top of your
Also,
time.
Okay,
I feel like
how
you might
about
be the only one
you
who
work
could.
out
2/3 of your time.
what 3 times 4 is, and when you have the answer to that, you come in.
What is this word times? Or 3?
I continue to lose faith in the plan.
I
You know
feel
what, let's
like
see what
you're the only
happens.
person who could identify the arcane focus that we're supposed to be looking for.
Yes, I could. If
Could-
there is one.
Could you possibly also use this distraction to do that?
Yes, I dare say. I was going to check.
Sure, sure.
Does a
What do you
genie
want?
technically count as a monster in this scenario?
Is this for the questions of hold monster?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Hold monster affects anything 'cause it's monster. It's any living creature.
Excellent.
I think. Is that right? Yeah, I thought so.
Sweet. Cool. Cool.
Thanks.
Got a better option.
One of the other GMs just said, might as well. There you go.
It's the most powerful hold spell.
It is the most powerful hold spell,
Perfect.
so yes,
That's
that,
what to check.
for the purposes of the planning, you could use that to hold any creature you wanted to from doing anything you don't want it to do.
Providing it works.
Hint.
Cool. So yes, I could, if we have a big enough distraction, I could potentially subdue the creature and use this time to find if there is indeed an arcane focus, and I'm still not convinced there is.
Skylar very clearly and very slowly looks him up and down and back up. You you can subdue the creature.
Potentially. I mean, it is very, very powerful. I'll give it the
Okay.
old college try.
Skylar is not convinced.
Tries to wink and can't.
So,
Okay.
what is the plan? How do we proceed from here?
Right, I'm gonna try and wind him up enough that he rages and then point him in the direction of the things.
Okay.
And go and kill. We're not gonna wait, we're just gonna let him go in and then we'll follow in afterwards.
Okay.
That
Lovely.
seems to be a better plan.
How do you wind me up? Or do you wait for later?
No, we're heading down. Let's just head down now.
Okay.
Okay. You all
I'm
make
gonna
your way down the
suggest that
corridor
you
towards the
rage.
party. Have the party noise again, please, Kat. The party music.
I'm gonna stealth.
Likewise.
28.
28,
That's 23.
23. Wizard, are you just walking?
Does this walk count as any form of short rest?
No.
Worth a shot. I.
How many spells have you got?
No, I'm fine. I was
Okay, cool.
could have more.
Okay.
How many spell points do you have left?
Got 83 total. I have used 15.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty low then.
Hello, are you ready
I'm
for
not going to
this?
stealth. Yeah, I'm going to. Well, no, actually, no. I'm going to. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
step down as well.
Yeah, stealth.
Hello, are you
You don't
trying?
need
Are
to
you
stealth.
trying to stealth at this
I'm
point?
skipping.
Skipping. Holla is skipping while everyone else tries to remain quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say to him, I bet you can't
12.
kill that genie. I don't think you can. I don't think you're strong enough to kill the genie in an attempt to provoke rage.
Well, you're an idiot.
Go on, prove it. Bet you can't.
I'm going to.
Go on then, prove it.
But I will.
But go on then, prove it. Or you won't get any potatoes anymore on the ship.
What are potatoes? What is this word potatoes?
You'll know what potatoes are. That's all you get fed.
Oh, see.
Remember that thing you eat all the time, Holla? That's a potato.
I see, okay.
That thing you just call food is a potato.
Language is so weird.
Mm.
It's just food. Okay, fine. For some reason, mention the word being fed potatoes all my life and that my whole world is a lie. I
Does this send you into a rage?
a frenzied rage?
A frenzied rage.
I regained
Holla.
confidence in the plan.
Holla goes into a frenzied rage and starts tearing down the tunnel towards the sounds of a delightful party. Okay.
This is only a terrible idea.
This is happening. Right.
Those watching at home are about to see the illustration of bad life decisions.
Right. Holla tears down the corridor towards the party, screaming, his axe held high. Is that fair?
Both axes.
Both axes held high, screaming.
One thing is like a Naruto run. Which is
You're doing a Naruto run.
Yeah.
He's doing a Naruto rage run
Yep.
into the room to
Yeah.
try and get. Cool. Okay. Right. This is happening. As he does that, what are you guys doing?
We're gonna stealth along. Well, I'm gonna stealth along behind
Mm-hmm.
to let him first distract the party so that we may sneak round the edge undetected.
Sure.
Provisionally.
Holla, that means the first turn is yours. You tear into this cavern. In front of you there is a lake, and next to it there is the beginnings of a sort of Moroccan-themed party. They're like sort of student digs gone wrong. There's tapestries everywhere, poofs, beanbags, whatever, and you just tear into it. There are people everywhere. None of them seem to be armed. They are all just having a good time, probably getting a bit buzzed. And there are two bards playing musical instruments, having a great old time as well. And you're just going to tear into the commoners and start.
Yeah. So just to be clear, there's a lake in the middle, and then around the lake is what
If you imagine there's a lake to your right as you walk in, and on the left the beginnings of this party that sweeps
see.
out across.
Okay.
Because you're in a rage, and that's all you can see right now, because the rest of it is all just red mist.
Frederick.
Yeah.
So I enter where the cave opens up.
Mm-hmm.
It is a cave, right?
Yes, okay.
Okay. I enter where the cave opens up once I left the tunnel.
Mhm.
I spot my targets,
Mm-hmm.
and I leap up, axes like wings. And I say, "You're not gonna die, believe it!" And I just start hacking and slashing at everything in sight.
I don't think we have a record scratch to make the music stop, but the music abruptly stops as there are howls of pain as something tears into the back of this delightful party. As suddenly bits of body and people just start getting boom, boom, knocked aside. Every swing of your axe does an average damage of a roughly 10 odd, which is definitely killing everything. So Holla is now tearing his way into the party. I think some battle music might be appropriate here.
Maybe.
The two bards stop playing. The You don't see this, but the two bards stop playing, and the genie stands up from his poof, clearly a little bit disturbed by what's happening to his party, as you three enter the cavern. Skylar, it's you first. What would you like to do?
Is it fair to say that everyone is looking at the Screaming Barbarian?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's looking at the screaming barbarian. Even you're not stealthed right now, no one is looking at you.
Can I look around to see who looks like they might be about to retaliate, especially bards?
The two bards are both looking like they're about to do something, as is the Emir, as is the water genie.
Who's closest to me?
The two bards are within disadvantage. They're all within disadvantage range of your bow. They're quite a long way away.
Can I get over to them, close enough to attack my rapier?
You could go around the other side of the lake. It's quite a wide lake. It would take you quite a long time to get round it. This is quite a large cavern. We're talking about
I can use my
200
cunning
feet.
action to dash as well.
If you run the entire distance, A, you'll probably be seen by a few people, and B, you'll only get to the very edges on the other side of the lake. If you imagine this is where the tunnel is, you could go around the other side, or you could join where Holler is and start doing what he's doing. But the bards are up here with you.
Okay, I'm just going to shoot for the bards.
Take a shot at the bards with disadvantage, please do.
It's a 17.
A 17. You hit one of the bards. Roll for damage.
Is it sneak attack?
It is. They have not seen you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love a sneak attack.
So one of the bards is being shot by the first rogue. Devere, as this is happening, what are you doing?
Oh, it seems to have worked wonderfully for the first one, so let's give it a go with the other one.
Okay, roll an attack with
Disadvantage,
disadvantage, please.
34.
34 points of damage. Your first strike hits one of the bards in the shoulder. It sees you. You used your cunning action to get this close to it to even be able to in disadvantage range to hit it, so you're not hidden anymore.
Can I use a free action to wave?
Yes, you absolutely can. You wave. So the bard looking at, oh, there's a barbarian. Oh god, something just hit me. An arrow just hit me, and is now focused on you. Good start. Right. The second
That
disadvantage
was a
attack.
24 to hit. That was
On a
I rolled
disadvantage.
a 20 for the first one,
Oh.
and then a 12 afterwards, and it's plus 12.
Oh my
That's
god.
disappointing.
You hit the second bard as well. That's absolutely fine.
Fabulous.
Start rolling your
Does that
damage
also
on
count as
that
a
one.
sneak attack?
It does.
Excellent news.
Archimedes,
minute.
what would you like to do while the bard rolls up a horrific amount of damage to this poor bard who's just playing some music, having a good time?
I would like to apologise for the interruption, and then cast Hold Monster on the genie.
The genie. What's the range on Hold Monster?
90 feet.
Yeah, the genie's way over 90 feet away. They're
Ah.
attacking with their short bows at about 120 feet.
Sweet.
So you'd have to use all of your move action. You'd still not be in range for Hold Monster. And if you're not hiding, they'll all see you.
That's a good point. I will. So the one that the bard that you shot's not down.
No.
No. Okay.
Could you go into the lake? Maybe just swim underneath and show up, pop up.
Crossing the lake would take you a bit more time, but if you
Yeah.
use your time action to cross the lake, you would get close enough on your next turn to be able to cast
So
Hold
so
Monster.
roughly what distance am I from Genie?
From the genie, about 120 feet or so. The lake is about 20 feet across. If you use your time of action to swim across the lake, it would take you that because 20 feet's about right.
Okay.
But then you're still a bit out of range. You've got 10 feet to go, so you have to do your next turn.
What I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
is I am going to attempt to not be noticed and sneak closer to the genie.
So you're going to sneak around the edge.
I'm gonna just like
The
look
edge where
at them.
the edge where he's fighting, or the other side.
I'm hoping they're gonna keep looking at him, so,
So
I can
sneak on the other side.
Other side.
Sure,
Yeah.
go for it. Rolling at disadvantage because one of the rogues is there, and she just waved at one of the bards she just shot.
13 with disadvantage.
Yeah, they see you.
Yeah, I figured that.
That was 36.
36 points of damage. You've used your movement to get close enough to hit, and you're
Yep.
cunning action, so you can't hide at this point
That's
either.
fine.
Oh dear. Holler, you are currently striking your way through these revelers. You are still many, many, many people deep before you start getting to any of the people that you want to be attacking. But you can start smashing through all of these guys as you go, taking out... It's 3 attacks per turn, isn't it, with a frenzied range?
It is,
So
yeah.
you're taking out 3 every go. So you've taken out about 3 already. There's 3 more to go if you want.
Yeah.
Just keep slashing.
Yep.
Roll the attacks, roll the damage. Let's see what happens.
That's a natural 20.
Okay.
That's an 18. And that's an 8. So
That's 11 to all
29
of
and
them.
19.
Well, you hit with all 3 attacks. Why don't you roll for damage on all 3 of them, please? Thank you.
It's one of them a crit as well.
Yeah, one was a crit, so you double that.
That's for. Do you double the modifier as well, or just the dice roll?
Just the dice roll.
So that's 14 for one of them.
14 for one.
And that's that. That's an 8.
8.
And that's a 7.
7. Right. As you start slashing away through people, this poor Arabian woman looks up at you with a kind of, "What are you doing?" And you just bisect her head completely. Avosu starts to run away. You grab it by the tail and just beat it over the head until it's a bloody mass. And in front of you, another Arabian is trying to run away, and your last axe blow just sticks right in her back and kills her. The carnage is real. It's awful. There's an awful lot of mess going on. It's not great.
And that was my turn. Thank you.
That was your turn. You are now closer to attacking the things that are going to hurt you. These guys are going to do nothing at all. The first bard, the one that you hit, casts a spell and disappears. The second bard does the same thing.
Would I recognize the spell?
Mm-hmm. It's invisibility. They turn invisible. They both turn invisible and disappear.
Oh, it's Genie's turn, isn't it?
Yes. The genie stands up, looks at this mess of people and all of you standing around. You're not hidden from him. None of you tried to hide from him, or you did or failed miserably. Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
No. Nice. Get out of that.
It's been fun.
Really like it there, but probably
He
wasn't
raises
that
his
painful.
hands, and the lake that you are currently all standing on the edge of starts to bubble up, and water starts to spill over the edge of this lake as water seems to be pouring into the cabin that you're in.
Skylar's having flashbacks.
Yeah, you are all now all standing within about 2 feet of water, so it's not going to cause any damage or anything, but the entire cabin is now waterlogged. He looks at all of you and laughs and says, "Foolish people to come to my party and not bring a gift."
Did you see my sweet dancing moves earlier?
No. Skylar, it's your turn.
Cool.
You can't see the two bards. There are just people milling around. The Marid is now within range disadvantage of your short bow if you want to try and shoot him.
No, I want to put on my water apparatus and dive under the water and hide.
Okay, you put on your water apparatus and make an athletics check for how pretty the dive is.
That's
18.
18.
Beautiful swan dive, just whoop, into the water. You are now in the water. As you go underwater, you see that you are... This lake doesn't seem to have an obvious bottom. It does appear to go down, and then there's what looks like a riptide underneath it, where there's a huge amount of water being moved around at quite heavy speeds, but it's a good 10 feet beneath you. Roll a stealth check.
As a navigator, would I understand the way that this water is working?
Yeah, it looks like an underwater lake. So there is a lake under the mountain that is dragging water along, and you are hovering above it at the moment.
That's 22.
22. You are also hidden from view. People can't see you. Although people did see you dive in, so you're in the water, but not
Yeah,
wearing it.
that's
Sure.
true.
Devere, what would you like to do? Your fellow rogue has just dived into a lake, which is also starting to flood around your feet.
Well, if it's 2 foot, it's around my neck, pretty much.
Oh yeah, you're a halfling. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
around your neck. Yeah.
I'd also like to put on my water apparatus,
Mm-hmm.
but rather than diving in, I'm going to try and basically hide round the wall. Distracted, hopefully, by the nonsense that he is doing.
Sure.
I want to try and just hide as best I can.
The art.
I'll stick with my original descriptive.
Sure, you do that.
And that would be a 25.
You are now hidden under the surface of the water. You still have an action, so that's a bonus action. You'd like
Cool.
to do.
And I'd like to probably just use as much my movement as possible to get towards the back where the bards were previously.
Sure. You are now making your way through the water. You've moved about, if you use your entire action, 60 feet. So you're
Yeah.
getting within 60 feet of the Marid, who's on a slight raised bit. You see, he's not actually in the water at the moment yet, and the bards can't be seen anywhere. They're
Cool.
gone. Thank you. Archimedes, it's your turn. Water is lapping around your knees. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna, against my better judgment, dimension door next to the genie. It's real
Okay.
far away. This is annoying, trying to be sneaky.
Right. Archimedes, how does your dimension door work? What does it look like?
Oh, it's very similar to, it's like an explosion of exclamation points and question
Suppose
marks.
exclamation marks, question
Correct
point,
grammar.
and suddenly Archimedes is gone and appears right next to the genie.
Like behind, if that's possible.
It's within range of you if you want to appear behind him.
I would like to appear
Are you
not
trying
in-
to appear stealthily?
Yes, as much as is possible with them.
Well, yeah, roll a disadvantage because of the effect your spell creates when you
Oh,
appear.
yeah. It's already not good.
Nope.
Oh, it's a shame. 14. for
14. Yeah, that's not worked.
No.
He knows you're there.
stealth. That's fine.
Yeah, you tried.
I'm here to give you a present.
Sure. Holler, you are still cutting your way through people. There's about at least another 20 odd people to get through before you get to where you need to go. You could try and make your way around them, or you could just keep cutting.
I mean, okay, so I've gone through 6 people around, and
Yep.
they've just been kind of through butter.
Yep.
Can I look up and don't see anyone who's actually a real challenge?
The only thing you see that we would consider a challenge is the gigantic genie, who is large, so the 10-foot genie standing on top of this slight mound. It's a it's a calcified stalagmite, basically. He's standing on top of there, looking around the room, laughing,
Yes.
and your wizard friend has just appeared behind him.
Okay. And how far is he from me? 100 feet?
He is about, at this point, 80 feet from you.
80 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you describe how this genie looks?
This genie looks, he's very fat and very jowly. He's wearing a very gaudy blue suit. He has orange skin.
Okay. So it is a humanoid physique.
Absolutely.
Does it have a bull sack?
Oh, why did I know you were going to say that?
As far as you know, yes.
Cool. I dash for the genie.
What's your speed?
30 feet.
You get within 20 feet of it, but at this point in time, that's all you do.
30.
You've run through the water as far as you can, but you've not made your way up onto his dais yet, so you're still
Can
standing in
I
the water.
throw an axe as a bonus action?
No.
No. Okay. Then that's me.
Cool. Hollard cuts through the other people who just scatter out of the way as this horrific barbarian comes running through. Naruto running, the water just parting like the sea as he runs forward, looking up, ready to strike at the rather scary-looking genie.
Terrible decisions just now, guys.
I think it's going quite well.
I'm having so much fun.
We're not dead yet. Exactly.
We could have
gone
been
worse.
killed immediately.
No, the spooky genie, he made
Holla.
the water raise.
I need you to make 2 Constitution saving throws, please. No, just 1, sorry. 1 Constitution
So
saving
just
throw.
one.
Yep.
Oh, that's a 10.
A 10. Excellent. You take 13 points of thunder damage as a bard reappears beside you, just going next to you, and there's this huge thunderous shockwave that knocks you back a bit.
Okay.
And he's in water. No, it doesn't make a difference. It's thunder.
Do
No,
I
it's
get
thunder
use
damage.
retaliation on this?
He's not within 5 feet of you.
But he's not.
And it's not a melee attack. It's just melee attack.
It just says attack.
Oh, he's not within 5 feet of you. It's 5 feet.
Oh, 5
No,
feet.
this has a range of 15. He's stayed back a little bit. Yeah. Right. Let me just check a spell. It's like, guys all have lots of spells. Archimedes, can you make a wisdom saving throw with advantage for me, please?
First
That's
natural
natural
20.
20.
Do I need to roll again?
Nope. There's a bard standing next to you. Put his hand on his shoulder, and it's one of the Maguro, the parrot people. Looks to you and
Oh.
looks to you and says, "Don't attack us."
Some solid advice, but I'll choose to ignore it.
You realise the spell has taken effect and steps back and snarls. Well done. However, at this point,
It's the small victories that are going to matter in this fight, I think.
at which point,
We're off to big victories, really.
yeah, you really are.
We all have our own plans.
Eldona Lead
None of
looks
them work.
at the people all around him, everyone running around. And the water that you're all in, except for Archimedes, starts to swirl. On the center of this gigantic room, a whirlpool is forming above the very eastern lip of the lake. And as it swirls around and around and around, I need everyone to, apart from Archimedes, to make a strength saving throw.
I'm not good at strength.
I know.
Really, just as well. I'm not in there.
19.
19.
Wait, saving throw for strength or just adding that?
Saving throw.
Saving throw. Then that would be 24.
24.
Halfling luck! That's much better. That's an 18.
18.
15.
15.
No, I'm so happy to see a teen number on my thing. I have 0 to add to it.
So he has that, which means he has... Yup. The two of you managed to hold your feet in this whirlpool. You only take 5 points of damage as the water buffets around you and damages you for that.
Can I
As do
retaliate
all-
against the water?
You're welcome to retaliate against the water. That is used once on your turns. That means for the rest of this turn you can't retaliate.
Oh. Well, I'll do it anyway. Yeah.
Sure. Holler strikes out of the water. The water is unaffected. It's water. Underwater, you also take 5 points of damage as the water starts to buffet you around, but you've avoided the worst effect of this.
Oh no.
Devere,
Oh no.
you are swept off your feet and being swirled around by this this whirlpool. You take 10 points of damage, and you are currently considered restrained by the water. You have to get a grapple check to get out of the water effect, otherwise you can't take...
That also sounds like it's going to be strength.
Yes, it is.
You can breathe though. So that's good.
I can breathe. Yeah, I put my apparatus
Oh yeah,
on,
you're
so-
fine for breathing. That's not the
Cool.
problem. It's that you can't do anything else. That's the problem.
Small
victories.
victories. Small
Point
victories.
here.
Skylar, it is your turn. Can you make a perception check for me, please?
3.
A 3. You don't see or hear anything special or different. What's your action?
Can I swim in the direction? Well, would I be able to swim now that the water is
You've strength
swirling around?
saved, so you're not affected by that. You're not grappled by it. You can make your way through it.
Okay, can I swim towards where I know that the genie was above the water, but I'm not going to put my head up to look?
So you want to stay underwater and swim through it. Do you end in the water?
Think about it.
I love that noise.
Big-
Like that.
You know what? Yes.
Make a strength saving throw.
Yeah. 17.
Once again, you manage to hold your own just against this effect, and you manage to move up. You still have an action if you want to take it.
No, I'm good. I'd like to hide. Stay hidden if I've broken my hide.
Sure.
That's it.
No, that's fine. Your stealth is so high, and these characters aren't going to be smart, aren't going to be perceptive enough to see you. That's fine. Devere,
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and be
Break the grapple?
ungrappled by the water.
Sure.
Probably.
You
There's
can-
very little else I can do.
I mean, you need to make a strength athletics check against the spell save DC to swim away from it. So,
Let's hope for a high roll because I have 0 to add to it. 10.
no,
That's
you're still caught in this whirlpool. If you imagine a as you go around, that's basically the effect we've got right now.
It's what I deserve for what I did.
Archimedes, you are standing on this slightly raised platform out of the water that is swirling around the center of this room, and you see your friends all dealing with it in their various ways. Next to you is a bard that just tried to charm you, and the genie's in front of you. What would you like to do?
Is there a way for me to get so that it's me, Bard, Genie,
You could,
without getting an attack?
yeah, you could tumble around the genie to get them in a line.
Yeah,
You want to do that?
can do that.
Make an acrobatics check.
Ah,
Roll
see.
high.
Yeah. 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a beautiful leap, you manage to dive around and roll around in midair so that you land, presumably to shoot your lightning bolt.
I'm gonna like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of your hands to hit both of them at the same time. What am I rolling to dodge the lightning bolt?
I believe it's a dex save. Beat to beat 16.
16 to beat on a dex save.
Yep.
Half damage from both, I'm afraid.
Cool, but I'm gonna over-channel it to deal maximum damage to the spell.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 48 points of lightning damage regardless. Well, so half, so 24.
24 points light damage to each. The bard coughs. There's just a hole in his chest where it used to be and just collapses onto the deck. The Marad takes
It's another one for your kill.
The Marad takes points of lightning damage. I don't want to shock you, but he seems to take less damage from this than you thought he would.
Ah, now that is good. No, I'm taking note of that.
Only takes half the damage that you thought he would from that very powerful spell. And as he turns and looks at you, he looks and says, "Lightning against a genie, you fool." Reaches out to you, and that's where we're going to end this hour of Adventurers Wanted. Thank you very much, guys. And hand over to Kat, and she will see us out for this hour.
Thank you so much for joining us for this hour. Just a bit of dodgy hip.
Kat has dodgy hips, in case you can't hear her.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please do feel free to come back. We are here until next Monday. So every day apart from Thursday and Friday, we're doing 10 to 3 and 5 to 10. All of those days except for the mentioned. You can also tune in on twitch.tv/adventures for live tweeting Adventures250. Give us a follow and please do feel free to pop in to watch again. If you do want to play or private play to these guys, there's an option for website. I'm going to quickly slow to these guys just to do a quick plug for a few things that
Yeah,
are
sure.
Nope, I haven't got anything.
I'm in a show.
Yay!
Yes. I'm doing a show called Size Matters, which is a dick joke, so it must be funny. It's a play all about how actors are the worst people on the planet.
Yay!
Yes.
Thanks, man.
I'm in a show called Loud Poets. It's spoken word poetry, but not like the standard that you would expect. To understand what that means, you'll have to come see it. It's on every day until the 28th, 9 till 10 at the Scottish Storytelling Centre, but the 24th is when you want to go, because that's when I'm there.
And that's also our day off, so if you're not here, go there.
Another good reason.
Sorry, I should have added the times and details.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Rhiann,
makes
Rhiann.
sense. So yes, Size Matters. It's on every day except Thursday and Friday at 6:20, right across the whole at Holyrood 2. Thank you.
Woo, splendid.
Amazing. Well, as I say, thank you so much. I'm pleased to be back very soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you in 10 minutes, stream.